We're just outside the Jamaica Yellow Pages building in Kingston. Not for the core work that is being done by the company, but because of the support it's giving to Jamaica's children, Jamaica's missing children. This morning marks the announcement of Jamaica being the 24th member nation in the Global Missing Children's Network, and Jamaica Yellow Pages has given Hear the Children's Cry a new website which will surely boost the efforts of every Jamaican in returning our missing children home. Join us as we give you moments from this launch.
Well, today marked the launch of the website which we designed and developed for Hear the Children's Cry. As we had said before, it's a significant day for them because they're now part of the Missing Children's Network. So this website would help to bolster the efforts that we think they need, and they have been, of course, putting out there, but we think it will certainly help to improve the reach of the message that they're trying to get out there, which is help bring children back to their families. Reuniting children is a huge challenge, and of course with the support of the Jamaica Constabulary Force through SISOCA and of course the general community as well, they are really trying to increase the success rate that is currently at 80%, which is kind of mind-blowing considering you see the amount of children that go missing on a daily basis. When you watch the news reports, you see these pictures of these faces, and I find myself even saying, when I go on the road today, will I remember somebody that I saw on the news last night, this little face, this missing child? So it's great that you'd have it accessible now, utilizing a different medium, which is the internet, of course. You can go on your desk at work. You might have probably gone out to lunch at lunchtime, and you might see someone who you might recognize. You can go and see if you can support the evidence by visiting the website again, because sometimes those pictures might not be repeated based on the volume of children that appear to go missing, you know. So this resource is so helpful. It's going to be so helpful for Hear the Children's Cry, and I know that the Jamaican public, I'm hoping anyway, will utilize it so that we can help to stop this problem, or at least reduce the number of children that go missing on a daily basis.
At least 75% of the children who leave home actually come back. But the problem is that when they come back usually to the same situation at home. Many of them become repeat runaways. They come back and leave again because the situation at home has not been addressed and is not being addressed. They come back with a lot of difficulties. We have teenage girls who go missing and then come back pregnant. They come back, all of them usually traumatized, and that's one of the reasons we offer counseling for children and families of missing children. And so Jamaica, we have big problems because children are unhappy at home, which is a basis for them to run away and leave. And family life is so difficult in Jamaica, you know. More and more children are leaving. They think that the grass is green on the other side, you know, when they leave. But what we want to say to the children and the parents is try to work it out at home, because as bad as things are at home, when they leave, if they were 100% vulnerable to problems at home, when they actually leave and go missing, they become 200% vulnerable. It gets worse. Some of them are lured by adult males that use them and in many instances abuse them, and that is a big problem. Then we have that 20% that are unaccounted for, and that's a big issue for us. We have no idea where they are. Some are missing for years and not a clue. Usually the children who go missing, somebody will see the child. You know, they might be cleaning windshield if it's a boy on a corner of some road in Kingston or somewhere else. Somebody will spot that child, and eventually that child comes back home. But that 20% is really problematic, which is why we're delighted to get the support of this global network, because we can now post photographs that will go global of those children who are long-time missing children. We've never been able to do that and get that level of support. This is a huge development for Jamaica. we work with the limited resources, and we're definitely underpaid and overworked. We're not complaining because we love the work we do, but we would be happy to get help from other companies. One of the things we are trying to get, for example, is a mobile counseling vehicle, a van, a bus, something that can allow us to move from place to place and parish to parish to do the kinds of networking and counseling that we need. We've always wanted to be able to bring at least 1 or 2 social workers on board our organization to do the home visits. There is really nobody doing the home visits now, because in numbers every month it's over 120 children who are reported missing. And so the government doesn't have the capability, we don't at the moment, to be able to do those home visits to find out exactly what caused, And so if we could get help to get 2 social workers, it would be a big plus for us.
Based on the setup of the website and how accessible it is, it's going to be available from your mobile phone. And of course, a lot of us do use our phones as our primary source of communication, whether it is to talk to a friend or to surf the internet. So that is one of the ways, because it's formatted also for mobile use. And yes, it's available on your computers as well, on your desktops, your laptops, and of course, whatever mobile device you have. We also support Hear the Children's Cry in other ways. We finance their operating expenses, and of course, we do offer support from a corporate entity standpoint. But I want to use this opportunity to encourage other corporate entities to help Hear the Children's Cry or even similar organizations, because we really, really, really need partnerships. We need to continue to grow the interest of the public in something like this. A cause like this requires attention and requires support. It's not sexy. There are no promotional girls. There's no party. But at the end of the day, reuniting a family is so important. And even if we find 1 child, I think it would have been work well done.
Our budget is very small. We operate on, I don't even think it's more than 4 million Jamaican dollars for the year. We would need perhaps twice that amount to bring on those kinds of experts. So we're really looking for help, and we are hoping others will come on board and help us. But I want to say this. I think more than anything else, we need the public to just take this on with us. In other words, we are calling out for every citizen to look out for the children. Because if we did that, at a national level, but even more so at that community level, where every citizen becomes the eyes and the ears of the children, then I think we would begin to see a reduction in these cases. Usually somebody knows something, somebody sees the children, and so that's where we really need the help of citizens. Say, let's all do this, because as Caroline said this morning, it could be anybody's child, It's not just children who run away, they're children who've been abducted. And we know the case of Ananda Dean. Ananda Dean was just coming home from school 6 years ago and was murdered 10 days later.
So the UK actually did a study, and they looked at what cost would be for missing persons investigation. And after looking at some of the data, they realized it would be about $2,000 to $3,000 or close to $4,000 per investigation. It really does depend on case. Each case is different. So if a case can be resolved within an hour, so that would not cost $4,000. But if you look at a case that could average maybe, let's say, 2 weeks or so, you have the issue of time, the resources for the staff, the time of going and interviewing, the search area of investigating the search area of where the child went missing is a part of the cost. The manpower, of course, as well as then with the media and the paperwork that goes with it. If it is technology that needs to be sent out, or information that needs to be sent out via technology, phone calls and all of the other admin stuff. I think cost is certainly a factor. I think the other factor is that they don't know, they're too scared to look at it, because once they open that Pandora box, they don't know what to do. They don't have the structure to actually respond, because they've never responded to it before. So they don't want to create a panic, but at the same time, they want to sort of sweep it under the rug so that nobody knows it actually exists. So a lot of them will look at the issue from a exploitation side. and say we've got children who are being exploited, but my theory is that these children who are being exploited, some of them actually go missing. But by the time the police get involved, they're looking at it from an exploitative side, not from the missing side. And so you get that discrepancy of looking at it from the criminal perspective and not from a society perspective. They don't understand what is considered missing, and they say, well, missing is just a 16-year-old that didn't come home from school because they had an argument with the father or with their parents or with the teacher, and they'll be back in a couple of hours. We don't need to put that into a database, so why even record it? Well, fair, but what if that child then after 2 hours doesn't come home? Then what? And you just waited 2 hours. For us, it's important that the police respond immediately. We know that I think it's 73% of children who have been abducted and killed are killed within the first 3 hours. And so for that to be, we need to be able to respond immediately. We can't wait 24 hours. We cannot wait 48 hours. It's as soon as the police is notified that a child is missing, they should immediately respond to it. Unfortunately, that's not always the case, because they say, it's a 16-year-old, it's a 15-year-old, they've already ran twice, who cares? It's not the right response, because that second time or third time or fourth time they've run away may be the time that they, it could be the last time, it could be that the time that they're going to be sexually abused, or that they commit a crime, or that they leave the country. And then it's harder to find that child. So for us, when we train police officers, we always make sure they understand every child, every report, you use it or you respond to it as if it is the worst case scenario.
So Jamaica, through Hear the Children's Cry, has become the 24th member nation in the Global Missing Children's Network, and with support from the Jamaica Yellow Pages through the building of a website. Now we can hope that more Jamaicans will be able to participate in returning our missing children home. Thank you for joining us here on Business Access TV.